Now, the GOP platform is a simplified message. It's 1,200-word, 1.5-page document designed to help Americans understand core Republican values. But does the platform reflect the Trump agenda? Joining me now from Southern California, real estate developer, media mogul, philanthropist, and Republican delegate for Donald Trump, Papa Doug Manchester. Papa Doug, the platform, I think it should reflect essentially what Ronald Reagan stood for, and that's national security, lower taxes, less government. Doesn't that resonate with all Americans?
Well, it certainly does, and Donald Trump is the man to, in fact, implement making America great again. I don't know anybody that's smarter than he is, and he's got the biggest heart, and we have the opportunity for the first time in over 100 years, or maybe ever, to elect a true capitalist to the White House that can stare down $120 trillion worth of debt and be able to, in fact, run the country like a business.
Are you fairly certain that the Trump agenda and the GOP planks that are being hammered out right now are going to intersect?
I am. Donald is a deal maker. You know, you can talk about free trade, fair trade, whatever you want to talk about. His whole motive in life is good deal. It's got to be a good deal for America. And that's what he is all about.
Now, you are a very successful developer in Southern California, and one visit to Southern California, Donald Trump said, I think a little bit tongue-in-cheek, he said that you would help him build the wall along the border. I'm sure you could do it. Extend the wall, actually. There's a fence just south of San Diego, runs about 15 miles adjacent to Tijuana. But the point is that it can be done. You'll hear a lot of people in government say, oh, it's too expensive. But come on. The private sector can get it done, probably at what, about $1 million a mile?
Hey, listen, we will in fact build that wall. And I was in Japan, as an example, last September, and almost 100% of the automobiles are Japanese. Over here, about 40%. Once again, it's got to be a good deal for America. And we have to secure our borders. There's no question about it. And the only way to aptly do that on the southern border here is to build a wall.
All right, so you are a Trump delegate,
yes,
as we pointed out, and you're headed to Cleveland next week. Do you go with any expectations? Do you go with any kind of agenda?
No, I go just to support Trump and his family. This man gets up every day for us. And he said, this is the first day of the rest of my life, and I'm going to live it to the fullest like a Super Bowl, only without any timeouts or any instant replays. And thank God he is, because he can face down all of the obstacles that we have in this country.
Do you think that this Vote Your Conscience channel that's running through some delegates, possibly when they get to Cleveland, certainly right now before the convention, but when they get to Cleveland, do you think that this is going to be defused?
Listen, everybody's going to rally around Donald Trump. He is, in fact, as I say, the opportunity to have the first true capitalist in the White House.
The economic plan that he proffers includes lower taxes.
Yes,
He's got
sir.
a pretty good tax plan. I think it's scored pretty well.
It's a fantastic tax plan.
Yeah, it lowers taxes pretty much across the board, and that's what you need to do. And that's in the shadow, essentially, of what Ronald Reagan did in the 1980s.
Well, we have all these factories that are idle now because all the jobs have, in fact, been taken out of the country. We can incentivize those factories to, in fact, reopen and with new technology, be competitive on the world market.
Art Laffer, of course, of Ronald Reagan's economic team, endorses Donald Trump's tax plan.
Absolutely does.
But also on the corporate side, we have a 40% tax rate. In my opinion, there shouldn't be a corporate tax in this country. It's just another way to stick it to the people. Because as a businessman, I think you would affirm that when you're hit with a 40% corporate tax, in the end, it's passed on to the consumer.
It certainly is. If you look at Donald Trump's tax plan, it is well thought out, and it will, in fact, create incredible jobs here in this country.
What about the federal bureaucracy? Do you think that Donald Trump's going to be able to, in my words, take a chainsaw to the bureaucracy and hack it back the way it should be, the way the framers of our Constitution would have wanted?
Well, I think he will. Once again, he is a deal maker, not a deal breaker.
And do you think he'll be a pro-life president?
Yes, he will be.
It's an important element to many Republican and conservative voters, of course.
Yes, and he's demonstrated that he's definitely pro-life.
Okay, so in general, are you optimistic about how not only approaching the convention, but approaching the November election, given the climate in this country, which has been hammered with 7.5 years of Barack Obama, 7.5 years of divisiveness, and now we have what happened, of course, in Dallas, the tragedy, the slaughter in Dallas, but also we have a terrible economy. And I worry, Papa Doug, about the future for my child, who's 20 years old, going to graduate from college pretty soon. Do we have reason for optimism here?
We really do. This man really respects law and order, and he will in fact support the police, and not in contravention of the Black Lives Matter community. He is a man of principle. He has got the biggest heart I know, great family. He will in fact restore America's confidence in the judicial system and be in a position where lead the country forward.
Seems to be working hard right now to try and unify the Republican Party, and hopefully at the same time we'll be unifying America. Papa Doug?
This guy has so much energy and has so much to give, and thank God for him stepping into the ring.
Well, thank you for stepping into our ring.
Thank you very much. God bless.